Hey
Bye-bye.
everybody, welcome back. We are the Help Action where we play D&D for charity. If you were with us a few minutes ago, pardon our little tech hiccup. Hopefully now everything should be working and you should be able to hear us just fine. To start us off tonight, Nero is going to take it from the top and let us know about our long-running charity, Transgender Law Center. Go for it, Nero.
Yeah. So the Transgender Law Center, founded in 2002, is the largest trans-specific trans legal organization in the U.S. Their tireless efforts to defend and advance the rights of the genders. Transgender and gender non-conforming people have resulted in precedent-setting victories in areas including employment, prison conditions, education, immigration, and healthcare. In addition to their legal work, they also organize community-specific programs such as Black Trans Circles, the Disability Project, the Black LGBTQIA Migrant Project, and Positively Trans that inform and empower trans and gender non-conforming folks across the
Nice.
Nice.
Hell yeah. That's a charm.
Second time is the charm. In addition to Transgender Law Center for tonight's show, in an effort to bring some awareness and support to the developing crisis situations going on in Texas, I do want to kind of talk about that whole situation for a minute. One of the friends of the show, our sort of back-end support for all of our stream software, who really helped out getting this show off the ground. And one of my oldest friends, Darby, lives in Austin, Texas, where he lives with his boyfriend, Luis. And I reached out to him today just to try to get a little bit of insight to what it's like being there. And I felt like what he sent me back was really kind of elucidating for the entire situation. This was all I got via text message. It's been 55 hours without electricity, heat, or water. Inside of our apartment is 40 degrees and the roads aren't passable. I'm sorry I couldn't get back to you sooner. I've been trying to keep my phone on airplane mode because we can't even keep our phones charged. I'm running out of gas in my car to charge things. So Darby has been keeping me updated the last few days. As of yesterday, even somebody in his apartment started a fire, and now the same apartment is flooding. It's pretty crazy. Just to talk about a charity that we are going to try to support and push tonight to help with that is Robin.
Yeah. So the blackouts in Austin and all over Texas are disproportionately affecting low-income folks. You have probably seen the photos of downtown Austin all lit up while all of the surrounding neighborhoods are dark. That's very real. My brother and his wife are in Austin too. They just got power back this afternoon, thankfully. But you know, in addition to the blackouts, I suggested they come out to sunny New Mexico, and they said there's no road salt or snow plows here, so the roads are blocked. They can't get anywhere. So it's a pretty grim situation, and thankfully they're okay now. But a lot of people aren't, especially people in low-income housing or who are houseless. So one of the organizations helping out in Austin right now is the Austin Area Urban League. And they're just helping out by getting tents, shelter, warm clothes to people. People in Texas don't have warm clothes. I didn't have a coat until I left Texas. So we would really appreciate if you would check out, it's aaul.org. You can check out and donate there. We're also going to be dropping the link in the chat. So tonight, if you have a few extra dollars you want to kick their way, that would be really awesome. And that and the Transgender Law Center, we would really appreciate your help.
And I am typing the link for that into the chat right here. They're running a program. If you go to the page, you just scroll down and all the donation information is right there. And let us know if you do donate. We'd be happy to give you a shout out at the end of the show, just to say thank you for helping out, especially in something that needs attention desperately right now. I think that's our plugs for our charities. To talk about a little more hopefully positive stuff, Tommy or Iris, schedule and social stuff. Whoever would like to go first.
Oh, yeah. What's more fun than looking at your phone? Nothing. It's actually fun and unfun. It's all the emotions at once. every time you hit that like or that follow for the help action on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. I don't. Do we have a Facebook? Maybe by proxy.
I don't think so.
But who are we kidding? Facebook is for the birds. Yeah.
Twitter
so
is for the
please
birds, technically.
Give us a follow, won't you, on the Twitter, and like our tweets. Follow us wherever social media may be found. The end of my story.
Thank you, Tommy.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
And for scheduling stuff, so the Help Action airs every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time. That's 10 p.m. Eastern time. We don't have any breaks coming up, so we're going to be doing this every Wednesday for the foreseeable future. So make sure to tune in. Usually VODs stay on the Twitch channel up to 2 weeks after they are aired, and we upload them to YouTube, where they will stay up forever, hopefully, barring any sort of catastrophe. But yeah, so feel free to catch up at YouTube and then follow along every Wednesday. Mark your calendars.
And thank you, Iris. And then just to speak for a second on the stuff on YouTube, we have episodes 1 through 6 up, and then some more recent ones. There's a little bit of a gap in there. Those are getting filled in this week. Those videos are finally getting rendered and processed and taken care of. So if you've been waiting to catch up, keep an eye out on our YouTube channel for this week to see the rest of those videos and get yourself totally caught up to today, if you are watching with us live.
Yeah. There is going to be an episode that's going to be missing due to technical issues, but I would like to propose that we do something fun for the recap episode of that.
Yeah, I think we're going to try to get everybody on camera, maybe just to sort of tell the recap. Maybe we can do like a super pared down, quick scripted version of it.
Like a montage or something? I don't know.
Yeah, like the way you would do like an improv game where you do it like every time you do it half as fast, and then whatever we end up with at the end, we'll post that. But all right, without any further ado, technical difficulties and current weather crises aside, it's time to do our recap and jump into tonight's episode. So, last we left off, our party had recently departed the small mining town of Phandalin to pursue a few quests. The first and foremost quest was to clear out a roving pack of bandits near a rock formation called Wyvern Tor. And then upon hearing that the party was leaving for this Wyvern Tor area, one of their new friends, Sister Garily, a pretty young, furbolg cleric of Tamora, had asked the party to travel to the old abandoned town of Coneyberry, which is right next to Wyvern Tor, to treat with a Banshee that dwells nearby. This Banshee, named Agatha, is a powerful diviner. And she was able to use her divination magic to answer questions. Now, Sister Garily had asked the party to answer a singular question so that the sister could report back to her superiors and the Harpers. That question was, what is the location of the Great Mage Bowgentle's spellbook? So, with 2 quests in their pocket, the party headed off eastward down the Tribor Trail, away from Phandalin. Camped for the night, was attacked by a couple ogres, woke up the next morning in the pouring rain, where Bree heard the hooting of an owl through the trees, and in a moment instinct whistled back at it. Moments later, it appeared, flying down and landing on her arm, having this jagged, barbed beak and this strange third eye in the middle of its forehead, alien to all of you, except for Bree, who had witnessed this creature several times in her dreams before. The owl then was named Winchester and decided to travel along with the group, sharing a very sacred and special bond with Bree. As their horse-drawn cart rumbled further on down the road, they came across a wagon that was beset upon by bandits. The victims of this bandit attack were dead in the road and being feasted upon by undead creatures. So the party moved forward, dispatched these creatures, and then soon after reached the old abandoned town of Coneyberry, where they took shelter from the storm in a old house basement. Leaving there, they made their way to Agatha's lair. They entered the forest, came across a long pathway decorated with dangling baubles of glass and metal, all things beautiful, shining in the forest strangely. This pathway led to an entrance in the side of a massive woven dome made from living branches. Inside this dome, nearly 40 feet high, the party found themselves in blue bioluminescent light shed by fungi clinging to the interior walls and dancing reflections of these shimmering decorations that hung from the ceiling. As the party looked about, they noticed furnishings, bookcases, table and chairs, old reclining couches, all of elven craft. And then Agatha, the Banshee, appeared. We pick up tonight's episode here, as you stand before the semi-translucent form of Agatha the Banshee, hovering in the air before you, her long white hair and robes flowing gracefully around her elven features as if suspended in liquid, her previously frightful demeanor now softened by your gift. She pauses for a moment, turning the silver jeweled comb that you had brought as a gift for her over in her translucent hands. She looks at you all, one at a time, and then delivers her proposal. Very well. I know that you seek many things. I am ancient and have seen many things. What few things I do not know from my own memories and experiences, I can access through the magic of divination. As such, seekers of things, you may ask me one question, and I shall give you a truthful answer. As her words hang in the air, you find yourself struggling with the question of what?
Group huddle.
T-Puddle.
We will convene momentarily and then ask that question confidently.
Period.
Period. Okay, gang. So, yeah, what are you thinking?
I mean, it just occurred to me that we could ask another question if we wanted to.
Good.
That occurred to you too, huh?
Yeah, where's Glassstaff?
Yeah, or
Quietly.
Yeah, or if we were to ask a question that the answer told us, where Wayvecko Cave was.
yeah.
Mhm.
I had a few questions of my own. I was that could pop into my head, though they probably wouldn't help anyone else here.
I mean, she's not going anywhere. Can always come back.
True. And if she's won over with fantastical items, which, as another woman of taste, I can certainly appreciate, this could be the start of a working relationship.
I have a question for the DM.
Sure.
You said elven features. Is she an elf?
As far as you can tell, prior to becoming a banshee, she does appear to surround herself with furniture of elven craft and to have the appearance of a female elf.
Would I don't know how much any of this really matters, but would I know anything about what a banshee is, or how they are made?
Make an Arcana check.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's definitely what I'm good at. So 15.
Straight up.
That's
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah.
So, what you know is probably with the 15 mostly gleaned from folktale, word of mouth, just sort of hearing stories, most of them spooky and scary. You know that Banshees are usually creatures that seem to be bound to the place in which they died. They always appear to be female. And all of them have this twisted obsession with things that are beautiful. They themselves usually being cursed to this sort of life of undeath, tethered to a location, being sort of forced to live with perfect memory of their lifetimes because they were beautiful creatures that did not use that good or that beauty for good, and rather used it more so for things like selfish reasons or social manipulation, etc.
Those vain, duplicitous females. Good thing I'll never turn out like that.
At least the ones that get turned into banshees because they're so bad.
Yeah. Wow. Fast forward to the end of the campaign. Just
As Oleander lets out a howl and everyone drops.
Hey!
cool.
Man, okay, but like, Lady Girly's like part of a.
The Harpers.
Yeah.
Which,
I mean,
to be fair, it sounds like their mission is pretty noble from what we heard.
I just feel like they would. I don't know if I want them as an enemy.
It would probably be good to get a wide-spanning organization of magic users on our good side.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But-
Maybe-
You know
Go
how
on.
we could get on their better side?
No.
If we got the book ourselves.
Mm.
Just saying. Think about that. Think about the look on the look on
Girly.
your furbolg friend's face, on her muzzle once you get back and you're like, hey, I found out where the book is. Right here in my hand.
Sister Garrily, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be pretty
A
cool.
lot of work. Wait,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Also,
I'm just
yeah, do
saying.
we have time for that? Like,
At the very least, we could find out how to get there as well as where it is. Couldn't hurt. That way we'd be
I'm
doing them a flavor, you know?
I'm gonna just look behind our little huddle to see is Lady Agatha doing anything.
At the moment, she is currently hovering in the place where she was before, just sort of turning the gift over in her hands, holding it up to the light, admiring it, and then every now and then just shooting a very, very calm glance over in the direction of your huddle. Seems patience is certainly one of her virtues.
All right, I think we can keep going for like 4 more hours. So let's just list every question ever, and then we'll pick.
Let me just roll out the bed roll here, and we can get real comfy.
Take a nap before we ask
Seems
her.
like a nice living room. I mean, if she doesn't mind, you know.
Actually,
Don't ask her.
in relation to that last question, Glass, go ahead and make an insight check for me, if you would, please.
Which last question?
Your question is you turned over and wanted to see what Agatha was doing,
Okay.
where she was looking, etc.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
Do I know her true name now?
Ever so slight is the curl at the side of her mouth. You sense that posing this sort of conundrum of you get one question, go ahead and figure out what you want to ask, is something that she takes some joy in. And watching people really squirm and try to figure out what it is they want to ask.
Oh, guys, she's like getting off on this. I don't know. Let's get out of here.
Huh?
So it would be good to come back and ask many more questions. So
And if we ask one question now, then we have all the time in the world to think about what our future questions might be before we come back.
I have a question for us. Who's asking her?
Not me.
Okay.
I could do it. I am a wizard. I mean, I don't know what that means, but
I can do it. I'm a
think we're
noble.
separate.
I'm an aristocrat. I'm practically at the same level she is. Our families are probably chums from old times.
But you're okay. You can ask her like normal style though, right?
It's your job. Normal style.
Sure.
So if we're asking about the book, how do we want to phrase this?
I would say something along the lines of, how might one
I don't think we want to have a big pause.
Yeah.
I'd be like, how might
Sorry.
we? Okay, I'll answer.
How might one go about retrieving the Book of Bojent?
Well, we need location.
If I remember the voice in my head correctly, I feel like we maybe got an exact question
We
from
sure did.
Lady Gurley.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, it could be, yeah, like what is the location of the Great Bogental Spellbook, or where exactly is the Great Bogental Spellbook?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stick to the script. But for the record, I don't have anything else to say. For the
Okay.
record,
Let the
I'd
record
love to
show
discuss
that
on this, but yes, we can come back to it. Let's stick with the script.
Okay, do you have the script?
Yes.
So what is it exactly? Just so we can be sure.
Yeah, why don't you practice?
We're practicing.
Where is the
I'll be
book-
her.
Where is the Book of Bogental located?
Okay.
Lightning bolt.
That's good. That's
Okay.
good.
Yeah, I hope
Spin around.
true to her word.
I
Pardon
don't
me,
know.
Lady Agatha. I believe we are ready to present our question to you.
She sort of lowers herself slowly, almost to the ground, but not quite, still hovering by a few inches, with both palms sort of outstretched, reaching towards you. You may ask.
Where is the Book of Bogental located?
She shuts her eyes for a moment and clasps her fingers together and then opens them. And where pupils were, her eyes have gone completely white to match the rest of her spectral form. And her voice sort of echoes throughout this thatched dome over your head. I was once in possession of this book. However, I traded that tome to a wizard of necromancy named Seroth, hailing from the city of Erebor more than a century ago. I do not know its current fate. That knowledge is hidden from my senses, likely through arcane protections placed upon it by Seroth, or perhaps its absence from my range of vision denotes its removal from the material plane.
That's weird. Very curious indeed. Well, we have a name.
She turns
We have some possibilities.
the small comb over once more in her hands then disappears, leaving a small puff of smoke where she once was. And you now stand in her dome, alone, the only sound being the rain on the dome above you and the tinkling of the glass charms and baubles and decorations that swing lightly in the absence of breeze.
Neat party trick.
The city one more time, DM.
So the wizard's name is Sernoth, Tsernoth, which I think I mispronounced the first time through, pardon me. And the city is Erebor, Iraebor.
Well, we have a name and a place. That's not quite what I'm sure the Harpers would like to hear, but it's a lead nonetheless.
Do I happen to know where the city is?
Make a history check for me.
Also, strength. 10.
You would have probably heard of it. It's a relatively large city, but is no longer. It's sort of one of those lost to history. It is in the Sunset Vale and the Western Heartlands, which is a region in the west of Faerun.
Mm-hmm.
Would
Alright.
I know anything about this Sernoth?
Also make a history check.
Oh. I'm gonna do it using the website because our cat kicked my D20 across the room.
Oh.
Hey.
Yeah, he's sitting on, you can't see it, but he's sitting on my desk, like, right now, right in front of me, pushing my keyboard out of the way.
That's good.
Good job.
That'll be a 16.
16.
Hey!
It is a name that you have not come across in your studies.
Hmm. Well,
Could have been that cool.
You think he's just some sort of, like, third-rate jobber? Like some sort of, But I mean, if she was willing to trade with him, he must
I
have been
was
hot
gonna say
snot.
a jobber or someone who is too powerful for me to know about.
Ah. That doesn't bode well.
No, it doesn't.
well, gang, I think maybe we might leave this place. Let's leave. If you know what I mean.
Just stroll out uncomfortably quickly.
Why no?
Yep, I'm back out.
Oh, business card?
You
And bye.
Wow, that sure is a beautiful business card, Ollie.
I haven't seen a professional
I like
printing
these.
service in months. Trust me, it's not beautiful enough to give to her as a gift.
As you begin to step out of the dome, Oleander, you turn around and quickly place. Are you placing a business card on her table, or are you not?
I am wedging it in between one of the wicker slats of the giant basket, right next to the front door,
Okay.
just so she doesn't miss it.
Between a couple of the branches, small business card sits, and you make your way back out onto that long sort of promenade that led you up to her abode, with the sort of dangling glass and metal decorations that still shine strangely despite there being so little light in the forest. You can still hear rain hitting the leaves overhead. Much of it drips slowly through, but you're somewhat sheltered still from the rain that persists by the trees.
Not as powerful as I thought.
Yeah, a bit of a letdown, eh?
Yeah.
Hmm.
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 Do you think the book is just destroyed?
I feel like I don't know. No?
I mean, it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. I wonder what these guys want with it.
Yeah, that's my.
Yeah. I mean, with a name like the Book of Bogental, I can't imagine that it's full of like, Armageddon spells or anything. It's probably like to make flowers turn into other flowers or something.
Didn't it have a different name? I could have swore it had a different name.
Tome of Hellspawn.
I don't think I ever gave another name. It was just the Book of the Mage, the spell book
Okay.
of the Great Mage Bogental.
Okay.
She did trade it to a necromancer, which
Maybe he was looking to change careers. You don't know.
Boy, also she had it? Okay. Do you think that has to do with, how she died?
Maybe.
but she didn't have it when she was
Right.
dead, when she died.
Right. Yeah, I guess a lot of things can happen in a person's life.
I mean, elves live for a while, so.
Yeah, they do get up there.
That's the thing about stuff, is it just keeps happening.
Ain't it the friggin' truth?
Oh man.
Conversations you have in D&D, they're just so like...
Anyways, so we have our answer from our Banshee. Do we want to head back to Phandalin, or do we want to maybe take care of a little bandit problem while we're here?
Oh, yeah, weren't we going to fight something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a
Are we gonna kill something?
I still have plenty of piss and vinegar left in me for another roustabout.
Some sort of thing with wings, maybe? I can't remember.
no.
No,
I think
it's bandits, I
is
thought.
the name of the place.
Highwaymen, vagabonds, cutthroats.
Hi, woman.
Who's to say what a wing is? Maybe arms are wings.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, does seem to be a pretty serious bandit problem up here.
Yeah, right, the hand takers.
Yeah, and there might be some necromancy mixed in with all of that. So that's even more troubling.
You
Let's
think that
stay.
maybe this might be related to the Book of Bogental?
Hmm.
I'm not saying all necromancers know each other, but I have to assume that it's a fairly tight-knit community.
I don't assume that.
You hang out with dead people, it's hard to make connections with the living.
Good point.
Right, which necromancers are living.
Are alive.
So, therefore, so maybe they don't hang out with each other.
No, but they would hang out with each other because they're in the same line of work. They're simpatico
Right.
with people who hang with dead people.
I mean, every necromancer that I've
Ow.
ever known has hated being around anyone alive. So
Well, everybody.
I don't think they're related, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well, no.
As you chat with each other and make your way from that sort of beautifully decorated promenade before Agatha's dome, through that long winding trail you had taken through the woods on foot, back to where that trail opens up out of the forest and to the outer vestiges of the ruined town of Coneyberry. You can now see before you the smattering of broken foundations of old homes, the sort of half-broken pillars of chimneys rising from various locations, and old streets choked with weeds and grass, all sort of downtrodden under the weight of the rainwater, and long puddles running through the sort of two-track roads that lead through this ancient abandoned town. Make your way over to the home where you had ventured underneath into the basement, the cellar, to take a quick rest where you had left your cart and your horses. Gather up your supplies. Thankfully, it's still there and untouched, and you now have the world at your fingertips, ready to travel again. Where would you like to go?
I mean, I'd love to go see what's going on with these bandits.
Yeah.
They're being awfully, I don't know,
Bandity.
evil.
Oh, sure, that too.
Let's say we turn north and head towards Wyvern Pass then.
I will say, too, though, that if we're going to fight them, I don't know if we might want, like, full night's sleep before or something like that. Right? Or
Circa what time of day is it at this point?
Yeah.
So let's see. You woke up
afternoon.
from the rain, probably pretty early in the morning. Ventured for, I think I said about half a day, with the delay of that encounter with the undead that had sort of been ransacking that wagon in the roadway. And then you parked, you took a rest, made your way out to Agatha's, made your way back, and now you're back in Coneyberry. I'd say it's probably around like 4, 5, maybe even 6 o'clock, depending on the pace that you had been traveling at. In the rain, I'd say probably leaning towards later because that would not be helping your pace.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it still raining?
It is still raining. You have been drenched since the moment you got up, except for the brief moment of respite you had in the basement of that old dwelling.
You know, when I think about everything we did today, I'm tireder now.
Do you want to head back to town then?
We can hang out in
Well-
the hole.
I think the hole was nice.
Okay. I'm down to spend a night in the hole.
Let's get in that hole. I'm hungry. I want a nap.
Way down.
Yeah, we can start a little fire. We can hang out.
We can try to not choke on fumes.
We can paint our nails and talk about boys. It'll be great.
Sounds fun.
After loading up the cart, you look to the sky, the angry clouds overhead, and realize you can't really track the sun, and you're unsure of the time, but looking back on the day's journey, you think better of it and decide to rehitch the horses, making your way back down into that sort of deep puddle of water at the bottom of the ladder, and from there up onto the bit of dry land that's inside this old cellar. The bits of old barrels and shelves and debris still sort of litter the walls, but the area of dry land is exactly as you left it, no more than a few hours ago.
Lovely.
Home sweet home.
I mean, this whole like abandoned town is a little bit creepy, right?
Just a little
What's
bit.
scary about a place where a bunch of people used to live and are now dead or gone?
Do we know what killed the town? Would I have to do a history check for that?
I'm trying to remember if I told you or not. I don't think that I did, so
Yeah, I
go
don't
ahead
think
and
you
make a
did.
history check.
I think we
Alright.
got like a
Hey,
like a bunch of people died.
Oleander.
That's going to be
Oh.
+4. Yes.
I was just gonna sing you a song to remember history.
I'll chalk that up to a delay in communications due to our format. If you want to use your inspiration to add to that, you may.
Oh yeah, I haven't rolled yet, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you did.
No, I haven't rolled anything yet. I've been patiently waiting to hear all of you talk. And
Well-
yeah, I would like to use my inspiration from when I resummoned Kevin for this. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, remember that?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, right.
And that means I roll with advantage, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Oh yeah, well I'm glad I did that. The first one was a 13, second one was a 2. So I'm gonna go with that first one. With my +4, that'll make 17 points.
17. You are unfamiliar with Coneyberry in particular, but this entire area, and based on some of the knowledge that you received from Sildar regarding all of this sort of area and the history behind Fandelver's Pact, that sort of time when previous settlements had all banded around the existence of Wave Echo Cave and began to settle the area. Wave Echo Cave was as he told you, lost due to the invasion of barbarian tribes. You know that many of the other areas in many of the other towns and settlements in this section of the world suffered a similar fate. So, excuse me, it would not be out of line to assume that that's what happened here, although it could be a variety of reasons. You're unsure.
So nothing like, no one big supernatural event, just time and tide.
Yeah, the biggest supernatural event, using that same check that you remember in recent history, was, I think, in this timeline about 50 years or so ago, was the large volcano off the edge of Neverwinter had erupted, destroying much of the city there and a lot of the other towns nearby. Could have been earthquake from that, fallout from that whole situation, but Neverwinter's begun to rebuild. This has been sort of lost to time.
Okay. So, but basically, like, it's not like there's like, I don't know, a giant crab living beneath the streets that ate everyone. It's just like, oh, this city was abandoned for relatively normal geopolitical reasons.
There was a lot of talk about the eruption of Mount Hotenau, that large volcano, being caused by something dwelling within it, but that was never confirmed.
Okay. All right. Okay. So in the short term, yeah, just another story of a small town whose dream outlasted its lifespan, you know?
Boring.
I'm Tennessee Williams.
I built a fire.
Good.
And
Building a small fire as close as you can to sort of that puddle that forms the pathway up so that the smoke doesn't choke you out in the chamber and exits through the same entry point that you had made your way into the cellar with. The temperature of the chamber quickly springs to life, giving you warmth, drying off your soggy clothing, and just lighting the entire cellar in a warm, orange, glowy ambiance that is much more comfortable than the darkness that you were sitting in before.
Lovely.
Wonderful.
Cool. Why don't we all sit down and tuck in for some grub?
Do a little bit of cooking. Sorry, I thought I interrupted you.
Oh no, I was just saying that's adventurer speak for let's eat dinner.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
I only
yeah,
speak
it's pretty.
common
It's
standard
rustic.
Yeah.
Oleander, are you making dinner? What are you making for all of us?
Well, I'm taking some of the ingredients from our rations, and I am making a very game attempt at a frittata.
Whoa. Okay.
It's not working amazingly, but I am trying.
Yeah,
Make
you know.
Make a survival check for me.
Roger,
Well,
yeah.
see if we all survive.
It's really impressive.
Just to see how well you can cook
around
on.
it.
Hey, that's a 17. I can cook pretty capably.
It's a damn good frittata.
Wow. Where did you find leeks?
Oh, you know, around.
Okay.
As you
Seems
tuck
about
into a
right.
delicious hot meal prepared for you by Oleander, is there anything that anyone would like to do, work on, discuss before bedding down for the evening to begin your trek to Wyvern Tor tomorrow?
No.
I want to talk with Winchester.
Okay, I was saying something.
He sort of climbed down the ladder, perched on your shoulder, and has been down there with you. He seems a little uncomfortable. His head is constantly on a swivel, being sort of enclosed and underground.
Mm-hmm. So welcome to the group, I guess. Where did you come from?
He sort of hops off of your arm and just takes a few steps over towards the fire and just sort of fans his wings out and shakes them. Bits of rainwater coming off of it. Tell he's clearly warming himself by the fire, but there is no verbal response.
Cool. Yeah. Were you like a normal owl and something happened to you? Or were you like born with this whole thing going on?
He sort of raises up one of his wings and then tucks his beak underneath and begins sort of preening some of the feathers that lie underneath where his wing is, but doesn't seem to be responding to you verbally.
Cool.
I'm going to just kind of sidle up next to Oleander and be like, looks like that's going well.
Yeah. The benefits and drawbacks of having a animal companion who is not gifted with speech, I suppose.
Well, I'm going to pull out my ink pen.
Okay.
So I don't have nail polish, but I got this.
Oh, this is great. Oh my god. This will do just fine in a pinch.
All right, I'll unscrew whatever, reservoir.
Did you want me to do you first, or did you want you to do me? Which do you want your nails done first, or what?
This is a great conversation. Yeah, do me.
All right. So
I'll put my claws out.
So, back where you grew up, tell me all about the man meat there. How was it going?
Wow. Well,
What was,
I mean-
the flesh market like?
okay.
The prospects.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, based on that question, and how you asked it, I grew up with my family.
Okay. Well, okay. That I probably shouldn't have led with the whole. Go on. I'm like fucked up one of your nails a little bit, but it's fine. We're gonna keep going.
But I mean, I think we're handsome.
I mean, yes, we did vote you the prettiest member of the party, so.
Oh my gosh. Agree. But yeah, it was glad I got to move to a city, That was nice. It was nice to be around some people who I'm not related to, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But I mean, what about you? Miss Cosmopolitan.
Oh, a lot of the available suitors were either old and gnarled or
Ooh.
sort of young and limp and breakable. A lot of mopey lads, I suppose. The dark arts don't really attract a lot of hunks, if you get my meaning.
Mm.
But I'd like to think I made do.
I bet you did.
A little bit. I didn't get out much though. I can definitely empathize with your feeling of wanting to get out from the thumb of your family. That's absolutely a big mood. Even though I lived in a big city, sometimes it felt like I couldn't really get away from them,
Hmm.
By the way, I'm painting your claws right now. Is this all going to come off when you retract them or what?
Wow. We'll find out.
True that. But yeah, you might say I got up some wild times. Ambrose can certainly attest to that. Am I right, Amby? Party gang!
Like over in the corner, like maybe like flipping through my big spooky alchemical tome, like just like looking over, and I just like tuck the hat down.
Ambi knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Spicy wizard.
Wizards. They like to pretend that they're real low-key nerds because they're all into books and stuff. But they know how to party.
Yeah. Hang on, the voice in my head saying something to Bree.
Bree, as you sort of listen to this conversation in the background while continuing to do your best to ask syntax-heavy questions to this woodland creature, I'd like you to go ahead and make an animal handling check
All
for me,
right.
please.
16.
16. As time goes on and you continue to interact with this creature, you get the distinct sense that he does hear you and does understand you, but has a strangely intelligent awareness of his own limitations. Or at least that's the way you choose to interpret it, is that he is simply choosing not to respond to you.
All right. Well, strong silent type. It's fine. You know, we can still be friends.
Have you tried asking to hoot once for yes and twice for no?
I should probably try that.
Yeah.
So, 1 hoot for yes, 2 hoots for no.
Where'd you come up with this shit?
Are you like,
Which is this
I don't know,
Cox
a
a strange
reincarn-
angle.
are you like a reincarnated, like, spooky king or something?
Oh,
Okay.
God.
I got
2 was no,
excited
right?
after the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, got it in one. No.
hey, you know, we've established some communication here now. This is good. This is great. Cool. This is good enough for me.
He sort of
I will also pull Ripper out of the backpack and put him by the fire to warm up.
as he comes out just soaked to the bone. This was already a small-looking creature, but taking away any volume given to it by fur, and it looks practically skeletal.
Oh, God.
And as you sit it next to the fire, and it just sort of sits there and shivers for a moment, and then shakes and puffs out a bit, just sort of curls up in the tiniest little cinnamon roll, and just does its best to warm itself by the fire.
This is fine. I can definitely handle 2 animals at a time.
Are you asking for opinions or?
No.
Okay.
As your food settles and you all get a little bit sleepy digesting a heavy and delicious meal, somehow made just from the little bit of rations that you had brought with you, you all get a little bit tired and one by one begin to drift off to sleep. Is anyone keeping watch? And are there any last minute things before sleep that anybody would like to take care of?
I'll keep first watch if someone wants to.
I can take second watch, sure.
Sure.
We've already bonded through nails. We might as well also bond through sharing watch duties.
Okay. And then
I'll take 3.
Perfect. So, as Ambrose, Oleander, and Bree all curl up and get ready for sleep, Glass, you keep yourself awake and watch as the fire begins to burn low, occasionally feeding it small sticks as quietly as you can, listening to the rain outside continue to come down through that small hole in the ladder. And despite the bright fire in the cellar that you're in, eventually the rain slows and this silvery shaft of moonlight comes through. And you get the sense that the rain outside has stopped, or at least paused for the moment. Go ahead and make your perception check for your watch.
$22.
22. There's a lot on your mind, but thankfully that keeps you active and alert during your watch. You can hear creatures scurrying around up above you. Somewhere in this cellar, you are absolutely confident there's some kind of a mouse or something that's been scratching away, and you know exactly where it is, but it just... Not going to bother it. I'm just going to sit here and do your watch. Your watch concludes without incident. I'd like to go ahead. Anything you would like to do during that time?
Yeah, I will find a stick to just kind of like poke around and draw on the sand while I'm passing time next to the fire. And with my other hand, I'll cast minor illusion and try to recreate the dome that we were just in with the bioluminescent mushrooms and reflecting light, and I'll try to recreate the comb. And I believe with minor illusion I can also create sound, correct?
Mm-hmm.
As far as I understand.
Yeah. Not at the same time, but each
Right.
independently. Yeah.
Just going through these things one at a time, practicing. And since the rain stopped, I'll try to recreate just like a gentle rain. And
Your noise machine for the evening.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then I'll create an image of a tavern in the rain. It's like a tavern door with the lights on inside. And then I will put that away. And then I'm gonna write a message in the sand to Oleander. And I'll just say in very big letters, "What is your favorite color?" You know, the dash glass.
Okay.
And I'll put
The
stick
penmanship is iffy, but it's legible in the dirt due to its scale.
down. Yeah, you can see that I did the A in my name like 4 times over. It's sand's all must. Yeah.
Good.
You complete your watch, having reminisced for a moment, and go to wake up Oleander.
I'll poke her with the same stick.
It's my turn.
Trade ya.
All right.
There's a
Good
secret
night.
message. I'll hand her the stick.
I take this amazing secret message stick and I go to the watch to where he was sitting to take watch.
There's a pile of a few like tops of barrels that he's sort of stacked 3 high, just to be about the same size as a stool. And he's been sort of seated on over by the fire, and scrawled out before you is, "What is your favorite color dash glass?"
I'm going to write pink in like a very curly cursive sort of typeface, and then I put O and then like a little heart inside of the O.
Beautiful. I love how much of a girly girl Oleander is, despite like
she's a
murdering
girl.
shit. It's great.
Yeah, she's gonna be tough and scary, and also a girly girl.
Yeah, it's perfect. Classes, you drift off to sleep. It finds you quickly. You are exhausted from the day's journey. Very, very happy to be dry. Oleander, go ahead and make your perception check for your watch.
Alrighty. I'm afraid that's only a 6.
Okay. Is there anything you would like to do to pass your time?
I'll probably take out that deck of cards that I had earlier, and I'll probably, like, I don't know, play some games of solitaire or something, or just practice some cool-looking shuffling or whatever. You know, it's something to do with my hands, basically.
There, keep yourself busy.
Yeah.
You do play solitaire, and you find yourself a little more lost in it. Somehow it is more engaging to you than keeping much of a sense of the world outside of you. It doesn't even quite occur to you that outside the rain has stopped. But your watch is uneventful. And 4 hours later, you kind of shake yourself from this card-to-play reverie that you'd experienced and yawn and stretch and realize you're exhausted. And it's time to get the other 4 hours of sleep that you need. Go ahead and wake up Ambrose. Wait, was it Ambrose or Bree doing the last one? I forgot. Bree, sorry.
Bree, yeah. Hey,
Next
Bree,
time.
you're up for watch. Also, there's a secret message for you. And I hand Bree the stick and tap on my nose like...
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'll go over to where Oleander was sitting.
Okay. As you wake up, you had not noticed, sitting up in bed, that Winchester had sort of come over and curled into the side of you while you slept for warmth, just right between you and the fire. And as you sit up, you disturb him, and he just sort of sits up and sort of blinks each eye separately for a moment. And make your way over to the fire, and he joins you. Oleander, as you slip off to sleep, it is pleasant and undisturbed, and riddled with dreams of playing cards. Bree, go ahead and make your perception check for your night's watch.
It is a 10.
You sit. Pet Winston, or Winchester. He eventually just sort of falls asleep, leaning against you. The fire gets low. You keep yourself awake. Is there anything that you would like to do during this watch?
I will think about it for a while, and I will take the stick and I will write blue under Oleander's pink.
Okay. The rest of your watch is uneventful, at least until, from the small shaft of moonlight above, you eventually hear the chirping of birds, and slowly the light goes from that sort of silvery moonlight color to this deepish purple magenta, that sort of warm amber orange of the morning time. And with it, at the end of your watch, you are all relatively undisturbed. You can go ahead and log a long rest for yourselves. If anybody has any start of the day activities, picking out your spells, etc., Ambrose, you may do so. And you are pleased to realize that outside and above you, the dawn has broken to a much brighter, sunnier day without torrential downpour.
Now this is traveling weather.
And I'll run over and look at my message.
I didn't know Bree's favorite color was blue. That's fun.
How'd you know it was Breeze? She didn't sign her name.
Oh, well, I just sort of assumed. Unless there was a fifth member in here. Or I guess unless Ambrose answered. Ambrose, what's your favorite color?
Amber, I look over at like this smattering of messages, and I think to myself, damn, I gotta do watch again. You know that color that's green and yellow at the same time, and it kind of hurts your eyes when you look at it?
Yeah.
It's that.
Cool.
Right behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I stare at your chartreuse green screen behind you.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, hey. What about you, Glass? You never told us your favorite color.
Oh my gosh, it's red.
That's a great one. Oh
We're
my
all
gosh.
such unique and interesting characters.
So much
Yeah.
knowledge to be had. As you wake up and begin your morning routines, getting ready, packing your things, making sure the fire is put out, you ascend the ladder, unless there's anything else that anybody would like to do while you're still in the cellar. You ascend the ladder to find your horses still hitched to the post where you had left them, and your cart ready for travel for the day. Damp. All of the grass around you has this sheen of morning dew on it. And from where you stand, you can now see sort of out over across the town where the Tribord Trail that you were taking, leading off in the westerly direction back towards the town of Phandalin, and then off to the east into this valley that sort of leads off in that direction. On the far side of that valley, it reaches up to this large bald hill above the tree line, where there's this strange rocky structure that you had seen before. Not man-made, just this natural stone formation that you identify as Wyvern Torn. I would like anyone proficient with perception to go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Well, that would not be me. I only have a +1 in perception. Does anybody have better?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Oh, this is my performance. Yeah, somebody else should do them.
10's the best among the two of us.
Yeah.
It's still partly cloudy out. There's dots of it in the area. You can tell that some of the mountains on your left side, on the opposite side of the Tor ahead of you, are probably still experiencing little bouts of sprinkling and rainfall, possibly a little bit of fog. But where you are, you're sort of standing in one of those patches of sunlight that's coming down at a sharp angle from the rising of the morning sun, leaving long shadows on the grass and the trail ahead of you. You're ready to begin your journey in that direction, either towards Wyvern Tor or back to Phandalin, or wherever it is you'd like to go. What's on the docket for the day?
Well, we're all rested and rejuvenated. What say we apply our feet to various butts up at Wyvern Tor?
Okay.
That's right.
I'll get my crossbow out and shoot an arrow into the air.
Don't. That's got to come down. Don't do that. Don't do that. Trigger discipline, Glass.
Already did it!
Were you trying to aim straight up or in a direction or anything when you
Oh,
fired
God.
this?
I'm going to say that I probably was trying to aim straight up.
Okay.
Roll
Make
dexterity, everybody.
Make an attack roll, then, if you would, please, with disadvantage. Just roll 2d20s and take the lower of the two and tell me what that number is.
Is higher better or worse? We'll find out. It's a 15.
15. The arrow just leaves your crossbow and arcs up and out of view somewhere in the bright sky above. You hear something impact the earth, maybe 30, 40 feet off to your side. Didn't land on anybody, but you definitely lost track of it in its long arc, and it took a while to get back to the earth. You're probably not going to find that bolt.
Oh.
I was just seeing if you were going to roll a 1, that's all.
That's what these bandits have in store.
I'm very impressed.
I'm very shocked, but I'm regaining my composure.
Making your way out of town, loading up the cart, and heading further eastward, back towards that large valley, sort of nestled in with a variety of pine and alder trees. We begin following a small creek that forms the center of this, and as you arrive at where you kind of think, it's hard to see through the trees, where you think the base of this large hill, atop which sits this rocky formation, you find that the path that you're following, as you head east on the south side of you, to your right is that stream. It eventually branches off to the right with a small footbridge that's been made over it. You would wager this is probably the path that would lead you up the tor, or at least in that general direction until you would have to take off on foot. Follow that pathway. You continue up for maybe another 10, 15 minutes or so before eventually the trail that you're on narrows and becomes, rather than a rustic sort of two-track trail leading uphill, just a single one-track footpath. Probably not enough room for the cart further along here.
Right. We should probably find a place to tie off the cart here and head up on foot.
Preferably somewhere somewhat out of sight, if possible.
Yeah. Can we try and hide the cart and horses?
Sure. Whoever would like to try to hide the cart and horses, make a survival check for me.
Can I assist you?
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely. I guess that's
You can do that with advantage then.
cool.
Or you can each roll separately, up to you.
I rolled 2 7s.
10. Oh.
10.
You find a small... Where you pull off the trail is just after the trail sort of leaves the tree line. And sort of doubling back and giving yourself further to walk, you find this small thicket of bushes and sort of park the cart on the downhill side of that so that anyone coming from above wouldn't see it immediately. But it's still pretty exposed from anyone who would be coming up the trail. Take a few branches and bits of tumbleweed and grass and sort of tuck them up next to the cart, doing your best to camouflage it. And at first glance, it looks like something that might have been abandoned there a long time ago. It's not a bad job. It's not a great job either.
Cool.
From where you stand now, as you sort of look up the trail, you can see this long slope of the bald hill above you, and the footpath just sort of arcs around to the back side of it. At the very top of this hill, you can see that rocky outcropping. And now, clear as day, you can see a thin trail of smoke that rises from the top. That immediately sort of conjures to mind visions of an active volcano, although on a much smaller scale. The footpath leads in the direction of the tor, nestled in a valley between this hill and another supporting hill. And aspen trees sort of choke this path, maybe another 100 yards or so ahead, causing the path to disappear. Assuming it sort of tucks around behind. This is where we'll go ahead and take our break for the evening. As you begin your ascent up the hill that supports Wyvern Tor, we'll be back here in about, 15 minutes or so? Call it 8:35.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, for those of you who are watching us tonight live, thank you for being here. Please, if you have the time or the spare cash or even just a tweet that you could make, anything like that would help. Please go ahead and head to aaul.org. That is our that is a link that you can use to donate to the I forgot the name of the thingy.
Austin Area
Urban League. Thank you. AAUL, Austin Area Urban League. We're trying to raise money to help them deal with the winter weather crisis that's happening over there. So if you can donate to that, that'd be awesome. In addition to that, we are, as always, supporting Transgender Law Center. You can find that link in our chat or by going to thehelpaction.com. There's a donate link there as well. And I think that's pretty much all we've got until we return. So we will see you back here in about 15 minutes at 8:35 p.m. See you and catch you in a little bit.
Later.
Bye. poop.
Welcome back, everybody. We
Hello.
are the Help Action, and we play D&D on here for charity. Tonight, as a sort of special thing, we are all, in addition to Transgender Law Center that we always support, which you can access donating to them through the helpaction.com, we are also supporting the... Actually,
Hey,
does somebody else want to
Al.
talk about this? 'Cause
Sure, I can talk
I
about
give
it.
them the
I've
spiel
got
a
the
few
page
times.
open right here because I was donating during the break.
Awesome.
The Austin Area Urban League is they are a charity that runs out of Austin, Texas, that helps low-income members with shelter and other much-needed assistance during this ongoing crisis. I don't know if you've heard, but they're having a bit of a trouble down in Texas right now with power and water and other scary shit. So yeah, we're kind of trying to generate money and buzz for that too. Right now, every little bit helps. Whether it's $1 or whether it's $100, doesn't like people down in Texas need our help right now, and we're trying to make it happen. I don't know. Yeah, we're trying to make it happen. I don't know. It's just I have friends who live down in the Austin area, and they're fine, but you know it's scary right now. So
Yeah, it's spooky. But yeah, the link is in chat. If you have anything to spare, it would be awesome if you could help out there. And is there anything else anybody needed to discuss before we hop back into a quick recap and then returning to our episode here?
could also just mention that we're also raising money for Transgender Law Center. So
Yeah.
if you donate to another charity,
Of course,
Do that.
as usual. Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that one, we are at $2,135. We are
Nice.
still working towards our $5,000 goal. So if there's anybody out there feeling generous, even in the small amount of the $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 range, every little bit counts. And if you donate, you get to leave a fun message for us to read at the end of the show. So please go check that out. The easiest way to donate is by either clicking the link in chat here or going to thehelpaction.com. And we have a big donate button there that you can click on. So,
even
without further
100
ado,
princely pennies is a good donation.
100 pennies.
Yeah, when we get to $5,000, Evan will do 5,000 push-ups on
Yeah.
stream.
It's true.
And then the flip.
I
I was
am
gonna say,
seeing a
what was
personal
the-
trainer right now. I could probably do it. It's like $1 a push-up if my math is right.
Evan is like, dare me, I'll do it.
Damn, I'll do it. Anyways, as we started tonight's session, the crew the crew had just made their way into the lair, this massive dome woven of living trees of Agatha the Banshee, to ask her a single question, being sent by this Furbolg cleric of Tamora named Sister Garrely from back in Phandalin. She had asked you to ask about a book that belonged to a mage named Bowgentle. Being presented with the ability to ask any question you desire, some of which may have revealed strange truths, but would have taken you off of the path of doing your due diligence in the service that you had promised to do for Sister Garrely. So, being the upstanding members of society that you are, you went forward with your original question. And unfortunately, Agatha was unaware of the location of the book, believing it to either be hidden from her divination magic through arcane wards or protections of some kind, or that it was removed either from being destroyed or being relocated from this plane of existence where her vision meets its boundaries. So, after leaving Agatha's lair and making your way back into the abandoned town of Coneyberry, the party then took refuge again in the same cellar that they had rested in earlier that day for the evening's rest, and woke the next morning to a less rainy day than the entire previous day. Sun shining, hopped in the cart, and decided to make their way off towards Wyvern Tor, where they reached a spot where the path branched off, led up, and eventually the path became too narrow for the cart. So, doing an okay job of hiding the cart, they tucked it away into some bushes and began the ascent on foot, having noticed that high above them, this rocky outcropping, the Tor, named Wyvern Tor atop this big bald hill had this small stream of smoke rising from it. So, as you make your way up the pathway, you reach that small stand of aspen trees that choke the path up ahead. And just before you reach the trees, the clouds above you break again. Your bit of sunshine was short-lived, unfortunately. Let me pull the music back up here for us. There we go. The rain above begins to darken the sky, and the weather doesn't move in unnaturally quickly, but it takes you a bit by surprise, thinking that today might have been a little bit drier day, but not for long. As you enter this stand of aspen trees, the shade inside it nears darkness and makes traversing this narrow footpath that you're on a active pursuit for safe footing in the loose dirt that, already soaked from the previous day, is quickly turning back into slippery mud. As the path turns uphill, you are luckily able to make use of stones sort of laid out as a natural staircase, giving you much more solid footing than the muddy path below. And eventually you reach an area where that stand of aspen trees begins to thin. And as you exit the tree line, you can see that you have circumnavigated a good portion of the hill, coming around to the backside, where up ahead of you on the bald side of the hill is a switchback trail that leads all the way to the peak. As you reach and make your way up the path, is there anything anyone would like to do before you reach the summit? You are now beginning your ascent up that switchback trail, and the hill that you are on is rapidly becoming narrower as it reaches that sort of rocky outcropping that just grows in your vision.
Is Kevin with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I? Yeah. I'm bonded with Kevin as a familiar.
Yeah.
So, can I ask him to turn into a raven and like circumnavigate the top of where the camp is, so that we can see what's going on?
Sure, yeah. As you give Kevin the command to transform from what he was in his spider form previously,
Spider form, yeah.
into his raven form. Do you want to describe how that sort of transformation takes place?
Yes. So Kevin, when he's in spider form, unless he's like attacking, he's at the size of a normal spider, and like we've kind of come to a truce where he's just sort of like chilling underneath like a lapel of my coat or something. But when he turns into a bird, it's kind of like a bunch of matter kind of pours into the universe to fill a bird-shaped hole before it kind of like pops into an actual bird. Like it's kind of like watching, if in like I guess a video game, seeing the shape of something pop in before the details come in.
Mm-hmm.
Only like a little grosser. But yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, so as the rest of you watch, your brain registers the suggestion of a bird before your eyes process its form. And as it sort of comes into existence ahead of you, there's a living, breathing, and moving raven. What would you like Kevin to do?
Kevin, if you would be so kind, of course, if you could fly up and maybe do a quick loop of the encampment up above us so that we can get an idea of what's going on. That would be fantastic.
Ha! Sort of lets out a single raven squawk and takes to the sky, up into the rain that is falling. And are you asking for him to report back, or are you using his vision?
I'm using his eyes.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm bonded with him, so like I can like see through his eyes.
So as the world around where you oleander goes dark. Your vision fades back in, high above your body, looking down at the tops of the heads of you and your friends, and below that, the hill sort of expanding outward in all directions as Kevin reaches the top of the peak, soaring high above. Where he is now is just about level with that rocky formation and that thin trail of smoke that still very lazily trails upward despite the rain. As he glances out towards the tour, go ahead and make a perception check with Kevin's stats for me, please.
Okie doke. His perception would be under wisdom. All right, cool. That's going to be a 15.
15. Okay. On the top of this hill, there is what looks to be, from Kevin's perspective, a flat patch of land, surrounded by these large boulders, not quite forming a ring, but at least forming boundaries in a more sort of natural shape. Each of these boulders is sort of half buried in the earth, so to where just sort of the tops of them peek up, and then stacked above those are more boulders. It really does look like some massive god-sized creature carefully took these stones and placed them here, like a cairn to mark some sort of massive grave. But taking a good look at them and your knowledge of nature in general, understand that somehow this did form naturally. Or at least that makes the most sense. You can see at the base of these stones, in one of the areas, a small opening that sort of leads into what looks like an underground cave, and coming from within that is a faint orange glow of firelight. And just further along, sort of above the surface of where that cave may lead, you can see there's another sort of section where two of the stones don't quite overlap enough to form a solid surface, and through that small crack, smoke rises. But you don't see any creatures, you don't see any movement. Just a firelit cave and what appears to be a natural vent being used to vent smoke out of it.
Okay, so the good news is we even if we get up there, we will still maintain the element of surprise. The bad news is I have no idea what's waiting for us, and I don't know if I would feel comfortable with sending Kevin into a small enclosed space full of fire.
Yeah, it sounds like a job for Bree.
It sounds like a job for all of us. It sounds like a job for
Right,
you
just
know,
Bree first.
kicking the door down. Yeah,
But there is some kind of fire.
there is some kind of fire.
Okay.
Yes, there's a fire. It looks like it's positioned below some sort of natural vent, so I doubt that it was made naturally. I think there are people up there. Whether they're friend or foe, I do not know. But
If there isn't a lot of smoke, it may be a smaller fire, which may mean it's a group of our size. So
okay.
Okay.
You think it could be
Here's
natural?
hoping.
Hmm?
Do you think it could be a natural fire? Could be naturally occurring?
Could be, but I mean,
In a cave, that's
Cave?
unlikely.
yeah.
I could see it if it was a forest fire, maybe, but not deep in a cave.
I think we're pretty sure about where these bandits are camped out.
Should I shoot another crossbow arrow straight up?
No, you should not do that ever again, actually.
Arrow seems like they think I should. Just kidding. I'll put my crossbow away.
So as Kevin finishes a circle, are you bringing him back, sending him elsewhere, remaining in his vision? What's
I
his
will
sort of order?
Bring him back for now.
Okay.
I'll summon him back to me. But I will tell him to stay in bird form just in case we need to dash fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it takes another minute or two for him to make the descent. As he does, he sort of alights on your shoulder. The darkness of his raven feathers and raven form providing a stark contrast to your more pale visage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, like when I'm like looking through his eyes, a bunch of little tiny like tadpole eyes open up around my regular eyes from earlier.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like how I was when I was casting him back into existence with them on my hands. Same thing on my face, but they close up when he comes back.
Okay.
Just horrible stuff.
Just wanted to add that.
Just
normal
normal
warlock
warlock stuff.
Nasty.
Just defining the aesthetic here. Anyways, let's continue.
Normal.
So now you stand, all of your party reunited at the base of this switchback trail, maybe 30 yards up. The trail itself, maybe 100 with its zigzag pattern. You begin to climb. The road itself is not difficult to traverse, and eventually you do find yourself up on that flat patch of land surrounded by that sort of ring of boulders half buried in the earth. You can see now, sort of ahead of you and off to your right, that sort of glowing entrance that leads down into the earth and sort of into the top of this large hill, hollowed out by either natural or man-made means, you're unsure, but from within you can certainly see the glow of the fire. And I would like someone to make a perception check for me, please, as you venture closer.
I'll check it out. 20.
20.
Damn.
Sick.
As you peer ahead, it's hard to see in the rain. You're having to kind of frequently wipe rainwater that's sort of dripping down your forehead out of your eyes. But eventually you just kind of shut your eyes and listen. And despite the white noise of the rainfall hitting the rocks and the bare dirt and the grass around you, you catch something that doesn't belong in nature. Voices of people in what sounds like either song or prayer. It's hard to tell.
We've got people. People talking, maybe chanting.
You think this could
Don't
be
know.
some like cult stuff?
I mean, from maybe. I mean, cutting off hands, sure.
Bandit cult. This actually got way more serious if that's the case.
Could be drunk singing too, though. I don't know.
I could see if I could.
Or just normal singing. Ugh.
I could see if Kevin could maybe get a closer look if he turns into a spider or something. But that's going to be a.
I mean, I'm pretty stealthy.
We could always just get closer.
Yeah.
From where you stand at sort of the opposite side of this large platform that forms the top of the hill, from your side all the way over to where that cave entrance is probably about 40 or so feet.
40 or so feet and like cave entrance open, like 40 or so feet, like out in the open, easy to like nowhere to hide.
From where you are right now, it is just this sort of strange irregular ring of stones. And then the cave entrance, and above the cave entrance is where the stones are sort of piled atop each other that form that visible formation that you could see from miles away.
Right.
I mean, might be a good idea if we are gonna fight these people to like, I don't know, try and draw them out here instead of us trying to cram into this cave.
Hey, good idea. I could use my prestidigitation to make some sort of loud noise or something. Or no, thaumaturgy. I'm sorry. My thaumaturgy.
We could also try talking to him, but
I mean, we
We
could.
I guess we can try doing the peaceful thing.
I mean, I remember
I mean,
the
or like as a trap.
the lava explosion we were very excited for, and nothing came of that. So
Yeah.
that was fun.
I think that was a good plan.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it
pretty good.
was.
We
All
could
right. Well,
do
did
this
you
in
just
seconds.
want to like go up and knock, or see if there's a doorbell, or how do you want to roll with this?
I will just whistle very loudly.
From where you stand, or are you making your way over to the entrance first?
Where I am.
Is there cover?
Yeah, actually.
You already did it.
Yeah, I'm gonna dive behind a boulder after you do
I'm
that.
gonna also dive behind a boulder.
Okay. So as you whistle, it rings out and is strangely muffled by the rain, but it rings at the same time off of the stones around you and hangs in the air for a moment and then is slowly sort of swallowed up by that of the rain everywhere. And as you tuck yourselves behind boulders to hide, I need everybody who is hiding to go ahead and make a stealth check for me, please.
Yeah.
Stealth. Ooh, hey, good roll for once. I got a 19. I'm like solid snake over here. Hell yeah.
Extreme halfling moments over here.
Got a 20.
Nat-
Okay, so
Cool. Good, I'm
19
happy
for
with that.
Oleander.
Yeah, I got a
Ambrose?
19.
20.
23.
20, 23. Glass?
17.
Wow! Excellent!
Hey, we're
Sneaky.
sneaky Pete's. Nice.
As you all tuck yourselves behind the boulders and just sort of almost Scooby-Doo, boop, boop, your eyes over the edge to see over in the direction of the cave. Glass, you can still hear that uninterrupted song, prayer, chant. It continues.
Oh no.
Doesn't sound like, or at least as you stand there and wait, and you see no reaction here on the surface, like they have heard you, or like they care, or like there's anyone there, despite you hearing the voices.
Guys, whatever is going on in there, I don't think it's right.
Well, there is one other way we could get their attention, but it's not something I wanted to bring up because we are in polite company.
Well, you have
Somebody want to try peeing into the hole that the smoke is coming from?
That's the thing? Oh
I mean-
my gosh.
They won't expect it.
Oh, amazing.
Do we have to climb for this? I assume we'd have to climb.
The entrance itself is kind of half set into the ground, but
Okay.
the stones that cover it, from where you are right now, you definitely can't see that sort of vent that you could see when you were looking through Kevin's perspective. You have a good idea of where it is, Oleander, but no one else really does.
Okay. Then I guess it's up to me.
Glass, yes.
While she's climbing up to try to disown them, I'm going
Nobody
to...
look!
I'm going to try and see if I can get closer to the entrance, close enough so that I can make out what they're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you make your way, clinging to the boulders on the edge rather than venturing straight across in the middle in the open where you would surely be spotted, you dash from boulder to boulder and make your way over to the small entrance. And as you listen, What languages do you speak?
Common and undercommon.
It is, as you expected, something between a song and a prayer and a chant. It's rhythmic. It doesn't change pitch like a song does often, but it has this almost like Oi stop Cristo Iacose Io say Crosteros. You do not recognize the language being spoken, but you note that the language is harshly guttural, and make a perception check.
17.
17.
Okay.
You hear, at minimum, 3, maybe 4 voices, but there may be more. Among them is one particularly deep voice and one particularly high and reedy voice that stand out the most. Yes, Oleander.
Can I recognize the language? Because I speak Common, Draconic, and Infernal.
As you listen, are you following sort of over by the entrance where Glass is?
I've clambered up and I'm listening through the smoke hole.
Oh, okay. So, in order to clamber up, first go ahead and make an athletics or acrobatics check for me, with disadvantage because the rocks are slippery in the rain. It is a steep and
maybe
difficult
I won't clamber
climb
up just
to
I
make.
was going to say, I thought you were sending Kevin up.
No, I was going to go up to pee in the... Well,
Kevin,
Oh,
you know
you were
what?
going to peek? I thought you said peek.
No, I was going to take a whiz in it. You know, to interrupt them.
Well, it's
You see,
happening.
when I was in Cotillion, we would have this hazing thing where, you know, they would bury you in a coffin because, you know, this is a long story. Anyways, we don't have to do that right now.
We're getting back
Come
to
on,
that later.
step on the rocks. Let's get it.
Anyways, let me just listen in real good before breaking my neck trying to piss into a fire.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
You make your way up to near enough to the entrance to be able to hear the voices. Based on those languages, no, you do not understand what is being spoken.
Oh, shit. Well, plan B. Does
Plan.
anybody have any good ideas before I, you know, take a whiz in their hole?
An idea better than this one? Okay.
Would I know what language it is?
What languages do you speak? I should just pull up a list because I feel like I have these written down as a handy reference guide for myself. I do not.
Common, Elvish, Halfling, and Sylvan.
No, you would not recognize it either. I'm going to check everybody's really fast, which would just be Bree and Glass remaining.
Oh, shit.
Same for me. So
No,
Shit.
Okay.
it's not a language any of you understand.
Well, if it's nothing that none of us know, then
That double negative in there.
Okay.
So, Oleander, are you trying to climb up top to go pee or peer into the hole?
I will peer first, and then I will decide if I pee.
Okay.
Um,
So to
yeah, so
mount
like
that
clamber up.
area, yeah, go ahead and make your athletics or acrobatics check with disadvantage due to the slippery rocks in the rain.
Got it. I will use acrobatics since I'm 1 point more strong in that.
Okie doke.
Okay, it's going to be a 14.
14, yeah, with disadvantage. You find a few spots where your hand slips off due to either loose dirt or bits of lichen that have sort of slid off in the rain, but you manage to maintain your grip and your footing and eventually clamber to the top. And you can see this sort of large rocky surface where two of these rocks have sort of collided and leave this small gap. And pouring out of it is smoke. As you sort of make your way up to it and lean over, you get an eye full of smoke and it stings and your eyes burn for a moment. If you're going to look in with your eyes, make a perception check, again with disadvantage due to the amount of smoke coming out and it making it difficult to see.
Wow, 15.
15, okay.
Doing pretty good.
peering inside, you just give yourself that bit of, I just have to look for a second, and then I can shut my eyes. And you tuck your head into the smoke and look down, and underneath you can see a black ring, in the center of which looks to be this sort of bubbling red surface, and on the outside of that, flames. You take a moment and you register that's a cauldron that's boiling some sort of a liquid. On either side of it, you can see off to one side there's this large sort of hulking figure in these black robes, and from what you can see from the top down, looks like armor made out of bones on either shoulder. And on the other side of the cauldron, sort of joining this figure in this continued chant in some unknown language, is a very, very small figure, even smaller than Bree, in similar robes, hood up to where you cannot see the face, but the stature of this creature brings to mind either halfling or gnomish. But beyond that, the sort of cone of vision that you have doesn't provide any additional information.
So, and the fire is directly under the cauldron, correct?
That's correct. And then
Okay.
sort of around this fire and cauldron, because you would be able to see this too, you can see it looks like something has been sort of stuck in the dirt and laid out in a circle around it in sort of even spacing. But you're unsure what it is. It's maybe these small little, looks like plants or cacti or something like that.
Well, gang, you know I never like saying these words, but I don't think piss is going to solve this problem. But I do think I might have something that does. And I reach into my bag and I pull out that vial of dragon bile, which I had snagged a while back, and which, if I'm remembering correctly, is extremely explosive. Or flammable, at least.
Okay.
I'm going to uncork it, and I'm going to pour it in the hole and stand back.
Okay.
What can we see from where we
Yeah,
are?
like,
From
Like,
where you
I
are
know
now,
it's
sort of
just talking
standing
about,
at the
but-
edge of this entrance, you can see this sort of rocky outcropping and these two larger stones that form almost like a turtle-like shell on top of this
Yeah.
cave. And then standing on the top of it, you can barely see the tips of Oleander's horns every time she stands up. But from the angle that you're at, most of her body is sort of cut off by the rocks that she had climbed up to get there.
Okay.
So vision as to what she is up to right now is obscured for all of you.
She's been up there for too long.
We certainly can't stop you, and
Yeah.
Give me just one moment to see if there is anything written in rules that I can find for that. Otherwise, I'll just play it by ear, which I'm fine by doing, but I want to make sure that there's nothing that I would be doing that would somehow mess things up.
I would like to think, because while you're doing that, just thinking out loud about, we still think that she went up there to piss in that hole,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna find perhaps that an explosion happened.
Yeah, I'm a little scared. I'm getting
Hey,
Amber's is getting queasy.
how much do you all know about tiefling biology?
That's exactly. I'm like, hell challenges.
No. A decent amount, I think. Definitely not whether or not urine is explosive.
Pee that makes you explode.
We're never sharing any kind of bathroom ever again.
Last thing I'm looking up really fast, and then I will continue. So pardon the
Very
break
good.
for just a moment.
Sorry, I'm
here.
doing some goofy shit
No,
here.
no, this
You
is
weren't-
great.
you
This
weren't
is
prepared
why
for
I
this?
give players really weird, obscure little items to see what they think of and how they might use it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think of it until like just now. So we'll see what happens, I guess.
Good, awesome. What could go wrong?
Truly.
Nothing, I'm sure.
Okay. As you lean your hand over and drop it, what are you aiming to drop it? On the fire and not in the cauldron itself?
Yeah, I'm aiming to drop it on the fire so that it explodes.
Okay. Make a sleight of hand check.
Ooh, okay. Oh dear, that is a 9.
Oh no.
As you uncork the vial and go to pour it,
Fuck.
you watch as it runs down a little bit of your hand and your fingertips, and some of it sort of drips onto the side, and then some of it splatters down into the chamber below, and you hear just a
Oh.
sputtering effect. It sounds like the little bits of this liquid indeed did ignite, but from the 20, maybe 30 feet up above, it had the effect of coming out of sort of a shower head and spreading out enough to where just a tiny little vial, only a few drops at a time were landing, and probably a good portion of it either landed on the ground or in the cauldron itself.
Well,
I just set the DC at 10 and you had a 9 there, so...
yeah.
Could have been really crazy, though.
God damn it. I poke my head back over the side at our other gang of adventurers, and I'm like, listen, folks, yeah, that would have been cool if that had worked, but that didn't work. So did we want to just
try to... They have no idea what you did other than peeing
I was going to say,
hole.
are we, like, reading your lips?
Yeah, like is Oleander just speaking full volume with a bunch of people
you're right, yeah. Okay, can I... Now I'm stuck up here. This was so stupid. No.
Well, you can be our aerial defense.
We're down below and we can't hear anything that she's saying, and we don't know what she's doing. So
after a minute, maybe we should just.
We're gonna slide down and we can.
I'm gonna slide down and we can bust in as a group. This was a stupid idea.
It was a really good idea. It just the dice sometimes don't work out the way we want them to, unfortunately.
Part of me is like, sunk cost fallacy, piss anyways. But I mean, again, showerhead, it's not gonna have the same effect.
Truly.
Okay, so as you try to make your way down, go ahead and make one more. I'll say if you're just sort of sliding down, you can make a dexterity saving throw just to sort of avoid things, since you're at this point using gravity to help you.
Oh no! It's a 1!
Those heels.
My terrible skill with sliding down things!
As you do slide down, you catch the edge of one of your boots and the leg sort of comes up, knee almost hitting you in the face, and then you almost get tipped sideways and begin to roll down the hill about 15 of the 20 feet down.
Oh.
You do suffer 6 points of bludgeoning damage from the fall and land prone at sort of the base of the rocks in the dirt. And for all of you, this is probably the least graceful you have ever seen Oleander be.
Let us never speak of this again.
Oh, I didn't see what happened.
Oleander, is that you?
Fight someone up there?
This is why I trust you through with my life. Can somebody help me up?
I go to help.
Thank
I'm gonna look at my nails. How do they look?
As you sort of flick them out, you see that sort of the area where the skin folds over your retractable claws is just blackened by the ink from your pen, and the claws themselves have these sort of vertical streaks, and as soon as raindrops hit it, it sort of wells up and turns each raindrop black before it drips off the edge. Water-soluble ink. It's not going to last very long, but it looks pretty cool.
Sick.
Just picture you be like,
Good.
okay,
Well-
so you now stand outside the entrance, having gained at least a little bit of perspective as to what lies within.
Yeah.
Oleander, are
There's 3
you
of them in
relaying?
there. Yeah, I relay them what I saw earlier. It's definitely some sort of arcane ritual. I think they're brewing something. It doesn't seem like they're brewing something good. So I think we're good to bust in there and show them what for, if you will. Ambrose?
Would I know anything about these disparate elements put together? Cauldrons and robes and bone armor?
I mean, that could be
It
anything.
could be anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
But just thinking, nothing immediately clicks together. There's no like, oh, this spell specifically requires these 3
Okay.
things. No.
Okay. In my head, it looks really cool, though, and I'm, like, excited.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Okay,
jazzed.
so
It does look like a metal album cover, so yeah.
Yep.
Okay, any other bright ideas, or should we just go in there?
We could just go say hi.
Yeah, let's start with
Let's
that.
start with that. Yeah.
Let's a well-armed, extremely careful hello.
Can I go first?
you may.
Yes,
Are you
yes,
moving
you
forward
may.
quietly or
The most beautiful member of our party may.
with wanton abandon?
I'm going to take my black nails and try to give myself like an evil look.
Oh!
Sicko mode.
Yeah, I'm gonna go sicko mode.
Can I use prestidigitation to help with intimidation? With lights or sound or something?
Okay. Are we going the intimidation route then? Got it.
Oh, what I was gonna say is just trying to make myself look like that.
Blend in.
Oh, okay.
Like, guys, I'm a goth too. And I will, yeah, so just with that, I'll just be like, let's just see what happens. And I will start walking in and I'm just going to give them all like, hello.
Okay. As you venture
Where-
forth beyond this sort of darkened cave entrance, you follow a natural stone corridor for just a few feet before that sound of voices is now much clearer. You still cannot understand the words that are being spoken due to the language barrier, but the sound is rhythmic, and you, after having been outside of the cave for so long, have begun to detect a repetitious pattern to it. As you make your way to the end of this corridor, it widens out into a large cavern, roughly 50 or so feet across, with a natural stone ceiling about 20 or so feet high, where in the center of it you can see that sort of boiling cauldron leading to the vent that Oleander had peered in from before. The entire chamber is lit by the sort of the flickering red glow of that fire. And you can hear this sort of sound of rain sort of dripping in from the vent above and making contact with the hot edges of the cauldron. Placed in a circle around the cauldron, from this angle, you now recognize hands. About 20 of them. All partially buried in the ground, sticking straight up, planted almost as if to grow.
Well, that doesn't work.
Next to the
We
cauldron,
gotta hand it to him.
on the far side, is a tiny humanoid figure, the same one that Oleander had seen before in black robes, a gnome or a small halfling of some kind, whose face is painted with streaks of white ceremonial paint.
Damn, I should have done white.
One hand clutches a staff while the other is raised overhead. And you can hear her voice clearly above the rest now that you can sort of picture her lips and detect what angle it's coming from. That thin, reedy voice that you had heard sort of above the rest from outside belongs to her. She recites an incantation, So it sounds in a guttural language that sounds harsh and grating, especially in the quality of her voice. And as she continues, and as you sort of make your way in and observe this, you can watch as the fire itself slowly over time grows a deeper, almost more unnatural red color with each word. Scattered around the room from where you stand now, you can see 4 other figures. There are 2 half-orcs, a male and a female, watching the ceremony intently. And then over next to sort of a raised platform to your right, you can see 1 additional dragonborn standing there watching the ceremony as well. And it is difficult to tell if the dragonborn is red or if it's just the light in the room. They watch in anticipation as all attention is sort of focused on this connection between this small, gnomish, perhaps a mage, wizard, leader of this incantation, or so it seems. Maybe upscaled only by the largest figure in the room that stands with their back to you now. An orc, at least by stature, wearing bone armor, broad-shouldered, tall, standing across the cauldron from the gnome. As you say, "Hello," and watches his face just sort of turns over his shoulder and glances back in your direction. And then he just kind of looks at you and gives a and turns back towards the fire and strides in a single stride, crossing the nearly 5-foot distance between himself and the cauldron, and then raises one hand holding a dagger and his hand and makes an incision across the palm. All right, what do you want to do?
I was just wondering, how do we get in on this? And I'm going to cast Charm Person on him.
Okay.
Quick thinking!
Okay.
So what kind of a save is that?
Wisdom save.
Wisdom save, okay. That is a 13.
Motherfucker.
Is that exactly your DC?
Why can't you be dumber?
No shit. I literally rolled a natural 12 plus 1.
To be fair, I don't think we wanted to be friends with these people.
Okay, I had a plan.
As you release the words for the spell, you watch as... Are the rest of you sort of following Glass in? I assume you're all sort of standing there to where you can sort of see this taking place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leaning around a corner or something.
As he finishes the incision across his palm, he watches all of the hands planted in the circle in an instant turn black, rot and decay, and turn into dust. And this dust turns soot black and swirls in the air in this large helix shape around the cauldron, fractal-like patterns emerging out of it. As it all instantly sort of comes around in a circle and surges towards the surface of the cauldron, which then glows an intense, bright red color. And like Glass did, if at any point anyone wants to interrupt me, just jump in. That's okay. I'm just going to keep describing until one of you does something.
Oh my god, start shooting.
Yeah.
The gnome in the robes then nods and gestures to the cauldron. And you watch as the orc takes his sliced hand.
Oleander, knock the cauldron over.
Right, okay. I use Eldritch Blast and try to knock the cauldron over.
So, if we are going to engage in combat and all that, we're going to go ahead and roll for initiative. And I'm going to show you what this situation looks like from where you stand at the moment. I'll pull up the map really fast.
Is there any way I can assist Oleander in this?
With a spell like Eldritch Blast, I don't think so.
No, this is gonna be all me, baby.
Okay.
Alrighty, so.
Well, I got my staff out and ready.
Present the map here. Can you see that okay?
Oh dear.
Oh yeah.
So you
Oh,
have
look at us.
sort of ahead of you here.
Yeah.
I would like to know, what sort of, I guess, glass would sort of be in the front.
Yeah.
Oleander, maybe here. Ambrose or Bree, which one of you is in the furthest back position?
I'll be ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I'll just say Kevin is sort of over here with you, Oleander, and Winchester is next to you there, Bree.
Yeah.
So that you know, the O1 would be the orc. E1 would be the sort of tiny figure. And then the Bs are the other, the two half-orcs and the dragonborn that are all sort of standing off to the side watching. So,
Gotcha.
your initiative rolls, starting with Ambrose, please.
Oh, got a 20.
20, nice.
Wow.
Big. Bree, for you and Winchester, you share an initiative, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So 23.
23. Nice. Make sure Winchester shares that with you.
Big roll.
And then Glass,
21.
21. Oleander.
6.
A year later.
And remind me, because it's going to take me a little while to make sure I get the rules between you and Bree's things differently. Is Kevin share your initiative, or does he roll his independently? He's a familiar, not a beast companion, so I don't know how that works. I can look it up for you, though.
Does not say anything in here about having separate initiatives, so I'm going to assume that he has the same as me.
Okay, fire bolt, find steed, find the path, find familiar. Let's see. Your familiar acts independently of you, but always obeys your commands. In combat, it rolls its own initiative and acts on its own turn. Okay, so go ahead and roll,
Oh,
roll
all right.
initiative one more time. Just roll a d20, and then add Kevin's dexterity modifier to it.
Ooh, oh, hey, that's pretty good. It's 15.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Cool.
Kevin's saving my bacon.
That's
And
funny.
that should pretty much get us to where we're good to go here. So, at the very top of the order, sharing your turn with Winchester, Bree, you have a 23. As you sort of look out at this, you watch as Oleander begins to cast a spell that you recognize. You have already watched Glass attempt to cast something. You're unsure what it was, but if it had an effect, you don't see it. What would you like to do? You watch as all this soot from the hands that had just sort of turned into dust and swirled and surged towards the cauldron, just turned the cauldron bright red. The small gnome just sort of gestured to come hither towards the orc as he makes his way up to the cauldron and looks like he's about to plunge that hand that he had just sliced into the substance there.
All right. I'm going to look at Winchester and say, right, it's time to test these communication skills. And I'm going to tell him to fly up to the orc and just get up in his grill and shred him.
Okay. Some battle music going here. So, as Winchester makes his way over to the orc, do you want him here, there?
Yeah, like kitty corner right there.
Okay. And then go ahead and make your attack roll with Winchester.
Oh, with Winchester, so it
Winchester does not have halfling luck.
He does not. He is an owl.
doesn't feel bad to me.
Damn. I mean, spell modifier, but whatever.
I am
It's
so
not
tempted to make
That's the
this
one always-
so
That's
bad
right.
because this is like the first natural one I've ever gotten to inflict on you because of your halfling luck. No.
Winchester explodes.
But as Winchester makes his way over and flies down, swooping at him with claws outstretched, you watch as the orc dives his hand into the substance, and this burst of wind sort of radiates from the cauldron and knocks Winchester back just far enough to avoid being able to make that hit. The orc, sort of large tusks coming up from the bottom of his jaw, grits his teeth in pain. You can see as he sort of rears back, holding his hand in the water, and basically thrusting his arm into a boiling pot of some sort of a liquid. With that, you have the rest of... so that was, I think, you took one attack action, and you have your bonus action and your movement as well. And the rest of Winchester's movement.
Oh, that's right. He still has movement.
Mm-hmm. And he has flyby, which means he does not provoke opportunity attacks.
Right.
Oh, so cool.
In that case, I will. I'm gonna move him kind of in between that orc and the gnome.
Okay, so around this direction?
Yeah, in that little pocket there.
Okay. As he makes his way over and sort of flaps next to it, every flap of his wings as he sort of hovers in place stokes the fire and sends ashes and bits of like red particles sort of flying out of the fire from the opposite direction.
And then that's it for me.
Okay. You still have your bonus action and your movement, but you're going to hold?
No, I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark on the orc, actually.
Okay. Cool. That works fine. So he is marked. Let me go ahead and mark that down really fast just so I don't forget. Put you under other HM for Hunter's Mark. Cool. Okay. Then that Winchester's turn, and now, having seen all of this, Glass, it is your turn. Ambrose, you're on deck. You watch as he grimaces, just continuing to hold his arm in this bubbling cauldron.
Oh boy. I will just, looking at the scene, just go, oh, I really wish that guy would have been charmed. And I'll, I'll uncork my vial of blood and just say, here you go, freaks.
Oh my god. Beautiful.
And I'll cast Bane on the gnome, the orc, and I guess B2 right there.
So, saving throws for each of them. First, I'll do the bandit, and that's a wisdom save?
Charisma save.
Charisma, okay. So, let's see. Bandit number 2, that is a natural 6. He's baned.
Hell yeah.
Put that down. Bane. And then for the orc, natural 20.
Sure.
Mad that I wasted that instead of with a hit, but that's fine. And then for the gnome, that is that's an 8, so also bane.
All right. Okay. So yeah, E1 also Bane.
Okay.
All right. With that said, I will take just a step backward. Just getting a little bit further behind my party because I'm concentrating now. So like I don't want to disturb that.
Oh, that's right. You are concentrating. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. And seeing Ambrose getting ready to take his turn.
I'll let the two of you swap places if you'd like to. Or do you want to stay back where you are?
Oh, I see. Yeah, right there is fine.
Okay, that's
Either
fine.
way.
The
Just
line
don't get
is
back in the
weirdly in
wall.
the middle of that pathway, so I'm sure it's 5 foot squares. You can both fit there.
Sure.
Okay.
And I'll just put my hand on Ambrose's shoulder, and I'm going to say, you're going to kill those mother effers. Or do whatever you want to do. And I'll give you some inspiration, Ambrose.
Okay.
Thanks.
Cool. So, Ambrose, having seen this, you watch as the orc, his arm still thrust into the boiling liquid, suddenly grits his teeth again, yells out a holler of pain that echoes through the entire room, and then the fire below the cauldron snuffs out, and it is pitch black in the room. Smokeless.
Oh, great.
The red glow of the cauldron suddenly sort of fades into view as your eyes adjust. And you see the sort of barely uplit face of the orc looking back towards you. The fire slowly returns underneath the cauldron. And you can see that the surface of the water, previously boiling where he has thrust his arm, now has a translucent, silvery, mirror-like quality to it. What would you like to do on your turn?
Well, I hate that. So I have a slightly out of character question for
Yeah, what's up?
Iris.
Hmm?
How, and if this isn't okay to ask, feel free to interrupt me, Evan. How good is your armor class and your dexterity?
My armor class is 13. My dexterity is +2.
Okay.
What were you playing?
I would like to cast Mage Armor on Oleander.
Oh.
Your base AC becomes 13 plus your dexterity modifier.
Oh.
It's not concentration, so it just goes until it's done in 8
I
hours.
believe mage armor... Oh, no, it has a range of touch. I thought it had a range of self, but it does not. Okay. So, yeah, your AC becomes 13 plus your dex modifier, so total of 15 now.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Ambrose.
I was thinking about you falling down the mountain earlier and was like,
Well, if this is what I get out of it, I'll have to fall off of mountains more often.
So thankfully, that lasts for 8 hours and does not require concentration, so that's just on you.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, mage armor.
All right. Excelente.
That's a good, start your day off spell. Just
Yeah.
pop it on yourself and you're good to go. Cool. So, that's your action. You have your movement and your bonus action as well, Ambrose. Is there anything else you'd like to do on this turn?
I would like to move. The area near B2, the other half orc, is that like a platform going up?
Yeah, so that is sort of a slanted raise that goes up about 5 feet in height, and then the platform above that doesn't have a ramp access to it, but is an additional 5 feet higher. Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to hop up there to the top of the ramp,
Okay.
so I can get a real clear view on everything.
So you can make your way to here and even to here, but leaving B2's range from there will give you an attack of opportunity.
Okay, I think right there is good.
Okay, cool. So you sort of rush over and sort of get a little bit higher up to where now you can see just over the heads of everybody in the room. You're maybe standing on 3-4 feet of rock beneath you.
Yeah, I want to keep an eye on that Dragonborn.
Okay, cool. As you sort of rush by, you watch as it sort of growls at you, and you watch a tiny puff of smoke come out of both nostrils. Any bonus actions?
Is bracing myself a bonus action? I don't think it is.
That'd be like taking the dodge action, and it's only a bonus action if you're certain classes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good where I am then.
Okay, cool. So then it is B3's turn, who is going to rush over, drawing a... Actually, not rush over, just sort of make his way back this direction. This is the female half-orc, pulling out a crossbow from behind and taking aim at you, Ambrose. So that's going to be a A 10 to hit, which I believe misses you.
Yep, that does.
As you make your way up onto the platform, sort of continuing in stride, you're sort of whizzing overhead, then clinging off the rock. To the side of you is a crossbow bolt that sort of knocks some of the rock down from the wall, and the bolt itself just sort of tumbles across the ground. A narrow miss. And with that, that bandit's going to step back a little bit further, and it is now the orc's turn.
Nice, sucker.
As his arm is still thrust in this liquid, now turned into apparently this mirror-like solid. You watch as the surface before dances with images and lights for a brief moment. And as you, Ambrose, probably have the best view of this from your position where you are. Looking over, you can watch as, and you swear you see his eyes dilate for a moment. As fathomless wealth of arcane knowledge floods his mind.
Oh.
Oh,
Good.
hooray!
The water,
Only he was charmed.
the liquid in the pot, then instantly transforms back into liquid. Its red color gone. Clear water now stands below it, still, not boiling. And he pulls his arm out, shakes it off, and the fire beneath, once red, now returns to a dull orange glow. His arm, where he pulls it out, miraculously unburned, and then he holds up his one hand and forms a fist and lets out a large howl of triumph, echoed by many of his companions. As he looks at you, you can now see that he sports scars that run back either side of his mouth, that curve upward in this sort of terrifying permanent smile. And he wears a single handprint marked over the top of one of his eyes in red war paint.
Oh fuck, he got Joker-fied.
He's like a
We
Joker
live in
man.
a society. The same eye that sports the handprint in the red paint also sports an eye patch over the top of it.
Sick.
This guy's got a lot going on.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
all right, buddy, pick one.
He turns, he
Pick
turns
one
to the
thing,
group of
man.
you
Yeah.
now, his
Or
back to the
fictional
cauldron,
character.
looking at you, Ambrose, and then the rest of the party. I am Brugor Axbiter,
Okay.
son of Grumsh, descendant of Uruth. You bear witness to my final preparation in fulfilling the prophecy of the hand.
Writing
He
that
reaches down to the ground and picks up this long polearm, a halberd with a viciously hooked and barbed tip, and sort of slams it twice into the ground, and that's his turn.
What would life be like if he was Joker?
Probably pretty good, huh? Probably wicked good, huh?
He goes, you want to know how I got these
but-
scars?
Oh my god.
No, boo.
With that, it is now bandit number one's turn. I'm going to assume that Kevin is just sort of sitting on your shoulder, Oleander, so I'm going to put him back there, right? You two can sort of take up the same space as long as he's still in his bird form. This one's just going to rush up to you then and take a swing at you
shit.
with a scimitar. Pulling out that scimitar, that is a 19 to hit.
Oh dear.
That hits.
Hits for a total of 3 points of slashing damage. Not so good on the damage roll there, but he sort of rushes up to you and
Hey,
just lunges forward. He
everything
does
adds up.
catch just the side of you.
Oh, sorry, B2.
Oh,
that was
was
what did he-
B1.
What did he roll?
That was B1.
E1.
Oh, is he baned?
Oh, no. Just B2 and E1. Sorry.
Okay. Yep. So
I would like to cast Hellish Rebuke, thank you very much.
okay, go for it.
How dare you? First off,
Dexterity save.
how dare you?
Yeah.
The dex save is a 19, but he does still take half damage, I believe.
Okay, so that's going to be 2d10 Or no, that's a successful one. So 1d10 fire damage.
Oh, does it say 2d10 or half as much on a
It
failed
says
save?
2d10 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much.
So you
damage
still roll
on
the
a success-
2d10, then you just take half of whatever you rolled.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah, in D&D you'll never roll less dice unless you're like casting something at a lower level, which is great.
Okay, it's a 7. So half of that, I guess, would be a 3 if we're rounding down, or do we round up for a 4?
We'll call it a 4. That's fine.
Oh, thank you.
I don't remember what my usual ruling is, but that, as you
Legend.
let out whatever sort of unholy utterance, tracing back to your tiefling lineage, you watch as this one, as he jabs into you, his sword arm up the rest of his body just erupts in flame, burning him badly. He is now bloodied. With that,
All
working
right.
on his own initiative is Kevin.
All right.
Finish him
Yes.
off, Sam.
Kevin!
A-hole.
Kevin, my
Kev,
guy!
Kev.
Fuck him up, Kev.
We love you, Kevin.
We love you, Kevin!
Rip off my
Oh.
robe to show up. I
He's-
hurt Kevin shirt.
Get him.
He's going to he's gonna do bite in beast form. It's a melee weapon attack, reach 5 foot, 1 target, +5 to hit. So the target must make a DC 11 Constitution saving throw for that.
Make sure this is. I am sorry because I have 2 pet classes and I'm still learning
Yeah,
the differences. Okay, yeah. Sorry, when you said beast form for Breeze, she has various beast options
This
or
is
bird
because
options. Got it.
Kevin's a raven, yeah.
Got it,
So
got it.
I guess it would be a very strong peck, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and roll first to hit with Kevin. That's I believe, a +5 to whatever your D20 roll is.
Bite him. Bite him.
Oh my god, that's another 1.
Oh boy.
Man.
Kevin comes around. Are you putting him there? Where would you like him to be?
He's on my shoulder, so he just like
Okay,
he's
I'll
gonna
just put him
lunge out and yeah, like right there.
Perfect. Yeah, now that like battle has started and we've moved him, I'm just gonna have him separate from spaces
That's
for
fine.
you, just so
That's
we
fine.
can track things.
Yeah,
easily.
yeah.
Cool. But unfortunately, yeah, he does go in, and the bandit seems to dodge away as he sort of pats the fire out from
Shit.
that. Kevin now has his movement, and I don't think he has any bonus actions. No, but he does have the rest of his movement if you would like him to move.
Yes, he's going to fly 2, 3, 4, 5. He's gonna fly due south over to like let's see, 5, 10.
It will take an
15,
attack of
20,
opportunity from B.
25 feet south.
Okay, you're okay with the attack of opportunity?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay. So as he flies by, swings out with the scimitar for a 9 to hit, which I think misses
Nope.
his AC,
Nope, fine.
and then he
Yep.
makes the
Whips
rest of
it.
his way down to about there. Is that where you wanted him?
Yeah, that's cool.
Perfect. Cool. Moving on then to bandit number 2, who is baned, as I recall, is going to take a swing with the scimitar minus a D4. Oops. Dropped the D4 out of my blank. Wow. Natural 3 minus 3 for a total of 0.
He dies.
Wow.
He becomes a statistical anomaly and just vanishes from existence.
Holy shit!
Slices
He goes
his
to
own hand off.
He goes to swing at
Star
you,
Trek
and you
sound
watch as
effect.
he struggles to even pull the scabbard out. I think a little
comes out of
flustered
reach.
by the situation, not expecting to be dealing with any sort of battle here, not even able to get the weapon out in time to make a proper strike. That will make the end of his turn. He's going to sort of remain where he is. And now it is the mage's turn. Mage is going to...
Chester.
What's he gonna do?
Z-boy. Jester.
Yeah, he's going to reach out and just sort of try to touch his hand to Winchester. And that's going to be a spell attack, I believe. Yes. Is it a spell attack? Or save? Yeah, it's a spell attack. Okay. Yeah, that's a 23 to hit.
Is that with Bane?
-4 is a 19.
God damn it.
That's gonna hit.
It still does hit for a total of... Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out all of this person's spells. My beezy.
2 million points.
Level spellcaster. Okay.
Yeah.
You watch as he does make contact just for a brief moment with one of Winchester's wings, and these bolts of lightning sort of encase your bird companion, dealing a total of 7 points of lightning damage to him. And he cannot take reactions until the start of Winchester's next turn.
Okay.
And with that, then the mage is going to back up this direction, since you cannot take an attack of opportunity. So, that being said, Oleander, you are now up, and then we're back to the top of the order with Bree.
It's almost like I'm at the top of the order.
It's almost.
Almost. Okay, so can I juke around to the side of B1 without getting an attack of opportunity? Not
Yeah.
like away, but like
to
around
there.
the side. Could I actually move to the southwest?
Oh, so you're flanking. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, southwest, the other side.
Oh, sorry.
Not flanking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well. Yeah.
I
You know what? Let's flank. Yeah, southeast.
Yeah.
Slip of the DM tongue. Darn it.
Yeah, flanking.
Alrighty.
Flank it. Let's do it. Okay.
And you were previously beginning to cast Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast, which I will follow through on that with B1.
Okay,
I'm gonna
so
blow
normally
this
disadvantage.
into next week.
Yeah, normally disadvantage nullified due to the advantage from flanking, so just a straight roll.
Okay. Nice. Ooh, baby, that's gonna be a 20.
Ooh.
Alrighty, yeah.
Not a natural 20, but a 20.
20 will definitely hit. Go ahead and roll some damage.
1d10 plus 3. Oh, great. That's a 1 plus 3 is 4. But can I also knock it? Or no, because Bree's right there. That's going to be 4 points of damage.
Points of damage. How do you want to do this?
Oh.
He had 8. He took 4 earlier. You just did the other 4.
We are happy
Wow.
about it.
It's Bree getting covered in guts again is all I'm picturing.
Now I'm ready.
Yeah.
Looks like I caught you shorthanded. And I just like, pachow.
Yeah, as
And
you
this dude, like,
lose...
because he's right there, if you ever seen Kung Pao Under the Fist, the part where he punches a hole through a guy and there's just a perfectly circular hole through the
Yeah.
dude,
Where-
that happens.
Okay.
we like.
Yeah, as you bust a circular hole through the chest of this man, Bree, you feel this tingling sensation on the top of your head and recognize that, oh my god, thank god, had you been an inch or two taller, that would have probably taken a lot of the top of your head with it. But as he crumbles to the ground, certainly not getting back up after that, we now reach the top of the order once more.
God.
Question for you as players. We're nearing 10 o'clock. Do we want to do another round of combat, or do we want to stop here for the night? How are we feeling? Or do we want to try to finish this? It might take a while, because there's a lot of things going on, and that's 1 out of 5
Sure.
down.
I know that y'all are an hour later than us, so if you want to hit pause, that's fine.
I'm down to keep going for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
You can
we'll
do
do one
that.
more round, and I'll check back in.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Top of the order, man just got his chest blown out directly in front of you, Bree. You now have no one sort of threatening your immediate vicinity as he falls to the ground dead. What would you like to do? You and Winchester, I suppose.
Yeah. All right. I will. I'm gonna pull out my bow and take a shot at that orc.
Okay.
That is a 17 to hit.
17 does hit. Go ahead and roll some
All
damage.
right.
And he has Hunter's Mark on him, so don't forget your extra d6.
Oh, that's right. Then D8 for.
Nice.
Hey, all right.
Nice.
12 damage.
Plus 3.
It's 15 damage.
Damn.
Nice.
Nice.
Well placed arrow.
I'm sorry, how many points of damage? I was checking to see what I was
Yeah.
going to do next, and I totally spaced for like a second there.
That's okay. 15.
15, damn, nice.
Yeah.
Huge chunk. You let loose with the arrow, and it just finds purchase as he sort of stomps that massive polearm into the ground, just almost staggers him backwards, and he sort of pops the shoulder back into place and just glares in your direction. His two large tusks underneath just sort of glaring, his one eye, not covered by the eye patch, focused directly on you now. You have your bonus action and your movement in addition to Winchester's movement.
I will. Sorry, Winchester. I'm gonna move him to be flanking with Ambrose, so basically right in front of the orc.
Okay. To right there. Okay, perfect. Yeah, does not have to leave his attack of opportunity. He sort of soars around. You watch as he sort of glares at you, and then that vision that you share for a moment is then obscured as Winchester sort of flies across. You never breaking eye contact with him. You have your own movement and your bonus action, since Winchester's movement doesn't require any resources.
Right. I will stay right where I am.
Okay, sounds good. And we are on to Glass, still concentrating on Bane. Up next we have Ambrose, by the way. You're on deck. What would you like to do, Glass?
Just seeing that we've started putting some hurt on. Boy. Maybe I'm just gonna get my crossbow out and go kind of like eeny, meeny, miny, mo between Bandit 2 and Orc 1. And I'll shoot at Bandit 2.
Okay. You sort of... the one immediately posing the most threat to Ambrose seems like the best choice. Go ahead and what you get to hit.
It's like a 23 or something.
Awesome. Yeah, that definitely hits. Go ahead and roll some damage.
That is 6 damage.
6 damage. Nice. Bloodied.
All right.
As the Dragonborn is sort of facing you, Ambrose, you watch as he sort of staggers to the side, an arrow or a crossbow bolt appearing sort of in his lower back. Just Glass aiming for the center of mass and finding purchase exactly where it should have been. Any bonus actions or movement for you, Glass?
No, I'm fine where I am.
Okay. Then we are on to you, Ambrose. This Dragonborn sort of in your face. What would you like to do?
Quick question. The entrances and exits for this room, I'm trying to tell where they are. Is
Just the one, as far as you can tell. Oh, actually, sorry, there's the other one sort of on the edge there. I hadn't
Trying to
really
look
written
up
that in to anywhere. This was not. This is the first time I think I'm using a map that I didn't make for this specifically. So we'll just pretend that that is closed. Sorry about that. I was hidden behind. I have my initiative tracker over on that side of the screen. It was blocking that part of the map.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I was just trying to figure out what the red thing was all the way at the bottom. I may not be able to see
It's
that.
just. I think it's just like a banner.
Oh, is
It's
it?
just.
Okay.
It's just something that was drawn on the map. Yeah.
It's the red thing.
It's a red thing.
One of them red things. Okay.
Mark that off as best I can. There we go.
Am I able to tell what kind of dragonborn this is, or would that be a roll? I assume it would be a roll.
Yeah, just make a medicine check for me.
Okay. Let me do that.
Sort of peer at his physiology, see if you know.
14.
14. At first, you thought that he was red scaled. Now that the light in the chamber has changed, you can see it's more of sort of a bronze color.
Okay. Okay. And I can still take my action, right?
Yeah. That was just
Okay.
sort of a glance and like, do I know this sort of a thing? Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to. Yeah. There's enough space for this. I would like to fire a second level magic missile, which is it's 4 darts.
Okay.
And I would like to fire two of them at this this lizard friend here, and 2 of them at our seemingly escaping gnome friend.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and roll 2d4 plus 2 for the bandit, and then we'll do that again for the gnome since it was automatically hit. I don't think, there's no disadvantage or anything posed by the range, so it's good.
Okay, cool. So that's a 5.
5 to B2?
Yeah.
As those sort of slam into the side of him, one knocks him one direction, the other sort of bats him back into the same position. You watch as the light begins to fade from his eyes, and he just sort of crumples. How do you want to do this?
Damn. Oh.
Damn, Dragon Slayer over here.
Was fully not expecting to completely myrtleize this dude, so in shock and horror, I've taken another life covered in blood.
Damn.
At the same time as you sort of realize that you have killed this creature just in front of you, it's about that time that the other 2 missiles are impacting into the sides of the mage at the far end of the cavern. Go ahead and roll damage for those as well.
Oh, I rolled for them.
What was it?
I got a 9 actually.
9, damn.
Yeah.
So a 3 and a 4. That's awesome.
It was a 7 plus 2.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Ba-bum-bum-bum.
Math, it's hard.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
9 points of damage. That's awesome. That's a lot of use out of a second level spell.
I'm a fan of it actually. I didn't think
It's-
it was that useful, but
It's, I mean, especially when you would have disadvantage from like somebody being in your face, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Always gives you damage. It's a big deal. Okay, so any bonus actions or movement on your turn? Now that you don't have anything threatening you, you are free to move about the cabin.
I'd like to move all the way up onto that platform, just another space up there.
Gotcha. Sort of make your way up. Now you are the full sort of 5 feet to the top of this platform, looking out over the rest of the cavern. You can see there's sort of this like thin layer of smoke of bits of that campfire that hasn't sort of escaped out of that clings to the top surface. And from where you are, you now can see firelight sort of reflecting off the side of this long, jagged, and hooked and barbed polearm that this orc is sort of holding in his arm as he just glares directly at Bree. You feel like you could cut the sort of line of vision between them with a knife. Bandit in the corner is then going to train his crossbow on you again, Ambrose.
Yes.
Trying to hit where he had missed before. He fires with a 15 to hit.
Ooh, that hits.
All right, so that's going
Ouch.
to be 8 points of piercing damage as it finds
Ow.
really solid perches kind of in your upper thigh.
Owie.
You're glad that you made it up onto this ramp before that, because it would be hard to climb with this sticking out of you. And that bandit's going to stay put. It is now this orc's turn.
Winchester.
He's going to take the one spear that he's holding and then hold out his other hand, the one that had been dipped in the liquid, and sort of wrap it around another invisible column, and just this spectral matching weapon appears in that hand.
Okay.
And as he does, he sort of points it at you, Bree, and it flies off in your direction, leaving his grip apparently hovering and moving of its own accord, receiving orders from him. He's cast Spiritual Weapon. So that is going to be, let's see, melee spell attack. That's only an 11 to hit, which I think misses you.
It misses, yeah.
As you are watching this guy intently as he lowers this other long polearm at you, and it flies across the room. You see it coming, telegraphed very much so. This man's not one for tactics or subtlety. It does slam into the rock behind you, and you can hear bits of stone sort of crumble to the ground, but luckily it did not hit you, and with that he's going to take the other of these pole arms and just sort of hack and slash in a long sideways motion at Winchester. That is rolling terrible for him. Only a 9 to hit.
That will not hit.
Okay. Wow, skipped a big turn from him. That's it for him. He is going to
Die.
remain where he is by the cauldron, sort of making his way up this direction towards you. And you can see now that the size of this weapon, even from where he's standing right now, you are within his range.
Oof.
Wow.
So,
Big.
moving on to Kevin, and then we have the mage, and then you, Oleander. What would Kevin like to do?
So I think I screwed up a little bit earlier. In which case I apologize, mea culpa.
No problem.
But it says that Kevin has an. It's confusing because Kevin has an attack move, but it also says he has an attack restriction, where a familiar can't attack, but it can take other actions as normal. But then why would you have an attack for a creature that can't attack?
So let me read the spell to you really fast, because I feel like that's probably the easiest way for it to get cleared up here. Friend, free movement, fire shield, find familiar. In combat, it rolls its own initiative and acts on its own turn. A familiar can't attack, but it can take other actions as normal. So I believe that is countered by your Warlock Pact of the Chain feature, which is Pact Magic, Eldritch Gentrification. Skip through all those. There's a ton of them. Sorry, we are working through new combat things. So you learn the Find Familiar spell and can cast it as a ritual. Additionally, when you take the attack action, You can forego one of your own attacks to allow your familiar to make one attack with its
Okay.
reaction.
So I'm gonna. So Kevin can attack, but then I can't attack on my turn.
Correct.
Okay, so I will hold off on him for that, but I will ask him to actually move back a little bit closer to me because apparently also, while he is within 10 feet of me, I share his magic resistance trait.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So,
Nate.
yeah.
Oh, advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. Very
Yep.
cool.
So, because there's a big pointy magical thing in play now, I want to get every advantage I can.
Okay.
So you can just move right there, and that's fine. That's within 10 feet of me, so that's cool.
Got it. Okay, so then that's it for him. It is now the mage's turn, who is going to look over to... Yeah, he's going to step forward just a little ways and cast... What's the range on this? Make sure I'm doing this right. 3. So he'll move back up to here. Bree, I need for you to please make a wisdom saving throw with advantage.
With advantage. Okay.
As the mage sort of steps back up to the cauldron, you can see the fire sort of uplights him, and you watch as he sort of gestures a hand out in your direction.
14.
And speaks words very similar to those that you heard Glass speak when he first entered the room.
Damn it.
As it sort of buffets your mind, you clench your teeth and are able to shake the effect off. It does not take hold. As the mage is sort of, and she sort of throws her hood back, and now you can see her hair is just this bright, bright white color, almost as if all the color has been sucked out of it by something at some point in her life. With that, it's her turn. Oleander, you're up. What would you like to do?
I would like to... Eldritch Blast was so nice, I'd like to use it twice.
Okay.
I'm going to charge one up and aim it at the orc right in front of me.
Okay.
Come on. Make it good. Make it really awesome so we can end this on a high note. Oh, fuck off! That's an 8.
8. Unfortunately, as you lower this aim and fire off another blast of energy, you watch as the orc's eyes just shift over to you, and he leans back and it whizzes by the front of his face, and he just sort of gives a grin and shakes his head.
Damn it. I admit that was pretty cool of him to do.
As we reach the top of the order once more, are we feeling like this is our cutoff time for the evening?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
we can pick this up later.
Okay, so that's where we'll leave off. The orc having just dodged that last attack, his spectral weapon in play. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Would have been nice if he'd been charmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been so clutch.
And that was also really, really good because they have an advantage against the saving throw after you're fighting them. And you weren't fighting
Right,
them
that's
yet.
what I was trying to get it in there before we start.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate you. We will be back here next week at the same time at 7 p.m. Pacific here on twitch.tv/thehelpaction. I'm going to go see if we received any donations on our Tiltify today.
I don't think we did, but
I don't think that we did. I think
I know
we're still
I
where we
saw a
were.
few people in chat mention that they were donating to the Austin area Urban League today instead.
Yeah,
So,
we're at the same spot with that,
Thank
but
you.
that's perfect. That's exactly what we want to
That's
do.
great.
Thank you for
Heck yeah.
redirecting your
Thank you
charity.
so much.
If you have time and you've never been here before and you'd like to come back next week, please go ahead and click on that follow button for us. And I think that pretty much sums it up for me for the evening. Is there anything anybody else wanted to talk about or discuss before we call it a night?
Tell a friend.
Yeah,
Tell
I think
an
we're all
enemy.
sleepy. That was a long game. But we'll pick this back up next week. And until then, everybody take care of yourselves. Do what you can to help out those folks in Texas and other places in the South that are dealing with this winter weather. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Stay safe. Stay
Thanks for
warm.
coming. We appreciate you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Mwah.
Bye bye.